All right, kings, gentlemen, everyone else, welcome to yet another exciting episode of Bad Hair Day. And today we're going to talk about something that is just about as risible as my hair, and that is right-wing masculinity. More precisely, we're going to be talking about the lack or absence of right-wing masculinity because you heard it here, folks. Original GLV hot take. The right wing is not masculine. Not in any rational sense, though. Now, there's a lot of biological males on the right, a lot of people with XY chromosomes, a lot of people with dicks in their pants, but I don't think there are many men on the right, and that is because, let's just get our definitions out in the open. I think that being a man is something you become. When you're born as a biological male, you have to then subsequently prove your masculinity by you have to graduate to masculinity by embodying masculine virtue, manly virtue, right? And virtue is, well, it's a moral category fundamentally, and no less than the Roman Republic, and the Romans agree with me that. And fundamentally, it's not even enough to you just declare yourself to embody these virtues. No, you have to be accepted by a competent group of men who are usually older than you as a man before you can consider yourself a man. And traditionally, here in Southern Europe, it's the older dudes you're drinking espresso with at Satrial's at 11 a.m. in the morning. So I don't know, it may be different in your culture, but it is the way it is. So what are the three virtues which I think best embody masculinity? First of all, a man keeps his word, right? So if a man promises to do something, he must do it. A man must also be forthright and honest in his dealings, and especially in his dealings with other men, which by this we mean contractual business obligations, which are a big part of who we are as men, because, men are providers and everything else. The second of all is a man has to be ready to sacrifice himself for his community, because men are not just providers, which is a sacrifice in of itself, but we're also protectors. So you have to be ready to take one for the team, whether that team is a family or a nation or a community or the boys at Satrial's. What can I say? But you have to be ready to, if necessary, take one for the team. Now, the beauty of it is that it's like the Three Musketeers, one for all and all for one. So the boys will take one for you as well, and for the team more generally. And the third aspect of it is, so a man keeps his word. So in order to facilitate the other two, a man must be master of his own emotions. Now, this is often bastardized by the modern right as a man has no emotions. This is not correct. A man who has no emotional life cannot be a real man. Like Don Vito Corleone said, if you don't spend time with your family, which is an emotional activity, believe you me, especially if you're spending time with my family, Maron. I'm digging this Italian LARP. I could go into this. You're not a real man if you don't spend time with your family. No, what it means is that you have your emotions and you enjoy them and you suffer them, but you do not let these emotions rule over you. You rule over them. You use these emotions, right? You use your anger. You use your joy. You use your sadness to do things, to do maybe even great things if you have the opportunity. And that's what I think being a man is, like the three masculine virtues. Keep your word and be honest, right? Be willing to take one for the team, so sacrifice, and control your emotions. And this is also being represented as the warrior or soldierly virtues: loyalty, discipline, and what was the third one? Courage. Fundamentally, courage. And all three are a combination of the three masculine virtues. So let's get into it. Okay, so now we have our baseline of what a man is. A man is virtuous. A man is honest. A man is self-sacrificing, and a man is master of himself, master of his own emotions. Now, it's okay to sometimes fail at these things if you then recognize, I failed at this. I will endeavor not to fail in the future. I'll redouble my efforts. Don't think that I have not failed at being honest. I have not failed at mastering my own emotions, that I have not failed at just self-sacrifice. All of us do. It's part of being human. It's part of being a man to recognize that you're not super powerful, then you're going to fuck up and you're going to move on. Now, the right wing. Are these people ruled by their emotions or not? I ask you, and the answer is yes. These people are completely and utterly ruled by their own emotions. So when I was talking to people, I was talking to people of all ideological stripes in the lead up to the 2024 elections, and I'm asking them, why are you supporting Donald Trump when your ideology is directly opposed to his platform? What is the thing with this? And they all gave like different answers, but it all essentially boiled down to, it's vibes, bro. I like the vibes. He's got good vibes. I didn't like the the way Kamala laughs. I don't like the vibes of this. And it's like, and to me, when you answer it's vibes, bro, you're telling me that you've let an emotional response override your rational faculties. Like, these are people who claim to be adherents to one ideology or another. Fair, I get it. And Trump is against many of these ideologies, maybe all of them. In fact, I would say that the only ideologues I could say rationally support Donald Trump are like libertarians or whatever, because he's only really delivering for those guys, and he only really promised to deliver for those. Everyone else just voted for him out of vibes. So you've let your emotions override your rational faculties. Congratulations, you're not a man. You are literally a hysterical woman. Let's move on. Okay, so next one. A man keeps his word. A man is honest. Well, what can I fucking say, man? The right wing is not only dishonest, not only do they routinely lie, like as I'm recording this video, the thing with Signal is unfolding where Pete Hegseth and JD Vance and Mike Waltz invited a fucking journalist into a top-level national security chat on fucking Signal, which is, by the way, they're not allowed to do. They're not supposed to have important communications on commercial messaging apps. And now they're pretending like that never happened, like they never did that. Like the journalist hacked the Signal chat, which is bullshit. They added him by mistake because they're morons, and they're lying about that. But beyond that, we are talking here about, and like the entire right is lying about this, either lying by omission, by pretending this didn't happen, or actively covering up for the stupidity of like the top magatards. But beyond that, let's not forget that this is the crypto scammer presidency. This is the presidency which began with a literal crypto rug pull. And when I actually, I've been anti-Trump since 2019, I would say, when I finally realized, okay, this guy's a piece of shit. What can I say? I was young. And people have said to me that, oh, but the crypto rug pull is okay because only people who bought into that are going to be fucked over. I'm like, well, who do you think got fucked over by Bernie Madoff? You know, people who didn't buy into his Ponzi scheme? Like, fraud is fraud. Fraud is a crime. It's like, oh, but it's just stupid boomers. I'm like, yeah, old people, unsophisticated parties have been scammed by this unscrupulous piece of shit, and you're supporting him. So, scratch another masculine virtue off the right-wing ledger. These people are not honest. You know, they don't keep their words. They're not forthright in business. They're, well, insert your favorite ethnic slur about, scamming people in business. And finally, are they self-effacing? Are they willing to sacrifice for the community? And I think the answer to that is a vigorous fuck no. Because if you look at it, even the ones who will speak about, back in the day we had more community, it was more communal, we were more together, their underlying ethos seems to be fuck you, I got mine. And they cannot look past their own fucking dicks when it comes to how we should order society. And it's a part of it is just that these people are not, like the left calls them narrow-minded, but I also call them narrow-chested in the sense that their range of, I'm sure there's a German word for it, but that their range of interest and knowledge of the world is so goddamn limited that is it any wonder that they don't really think about anyone but themselves? But yeah, these people will often claim to be communally minded, but they are fundamentally selfish. They are fundamentally selfish and don't really think about anyone but themselves. And this is why they fail at setting up communities. All the masculinity influencers you see online, how many of these people have as satrialis? How many of these people have actually managed to essentially become initiated into a group of men who sit around in front of a pork store and drink espresso? Like, that's the barest minimum of masculine participation in society you could do. Just go and have beers and espressos with some dude. I don't know, it could be different in your culture. You might be doing some different things together with other men, but you got to ask these people, okay, where are your male friends? Who's your mentor? What are some older men in your community you admire? I'm in my mid-30s, right? How many of your friends are in their 50s, say? I wouldn't say I have some very close friends in their 50s, but I have some dudes I could rely on, to hang out with or maybe go to advice for, including my male relatives, my father, and the reality of it is, there's precious little masculinity of the real kind on the right, but there's a lot of Peter Pan syndrome on the right. There's a lot of, I want to be big and strong and fuck lots of women and eat candy and drink beer and drive dangerously. And it's Peter Pan syndrome, and when it's young boys, it's 12-year-old boys, it's kind of cute. But when these 12-year-old boys, they turn 20 and then 30 and then, God fucking forbid, 40, then it just devolves into selfishness, stupidity, and ultimately criminality, which is why a lot of these people actually admire criminals, such as Andrew Tate and Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And I could mention many more, but this video is already getting too long. And so, yeah, we'll see you around, kids. Bye-bye.